Okay, it is now 7 o'clock. We will go ahead and start our city council meeting. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Hayes.
Here.
Alderman Bolton.
Present.
Alderman Seeger.
Present.
Alderman Mosio.
Here.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Here.
Alderman Newsome.
Present.
Alderman Turner.
Present.
Alderman Rivera.
Present.
Alderman Florian.
Present.
Mayor Taylor.
Present.
You have a quorum, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. At this time, I'd like to welcome Pastor David Barrett up from the DLB Ministries and on Kenosha Road in Zion. He's going to give the invocation for this evening. Thank you so much, Pastor, for being here this evening.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you tonight for this meeting, for this setting. We thank you for these leaders here, for the mayor, for the aldermen, for all those that are in authority. We pray for a peace tonight. We pray that you will continue to help them to guide the city in the right direction. We thank you for everybody, God. Thank you for every ward. God, we thank you for allowing us to come through the pandemics and different things that we've suffered over the past year. As we get ready to go into a new year, we ask that you just lead us and guide us and direct the city in the right way that it should go. And we thank you for these things. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
All communists remain seated.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before I make my comments tonight, I'm going to have Corporate Counsel address two issues. One, we will go over the rules of decorum, and secondly, he will give an update on 200 Julian.
All right, good evening, everyone. Once again, just going through the rules of decorum. These can be found, these were adopted in 2007. They can be found in section 2-65.1 of the city code. The presiding officer shall conduct the city council meetings in an orderly manner. No person in the audience shall engage in disorderly conduct, including any attack that disturbs, disrupts, or otherwise impedes the orderly conduct of any council meeting or the presentation of any speaker. During public portion of city council meetings, public comments are limited to 3 minutes per individual. Individuals are directed to be brief and concise in making their remarks and to address topics directly relevant to the business of the city council. The presiding officer, after one warning, may rule any individual addressing the city council out of order if the individual becomes repetitive, exceeds the 3-minute limitation, makes personal attacks against others, makes rude or slanderous remarks, becomes threatening or boisterous, engages in electioneering for candidates, or otherwise interferes with the orderly and dignified conduct of the meeting. If ruled out of order and is found by the chair to be out of order, the individual may be barred from further remarks. One of the things that I want to make sure of is that when we're making presentations that we're not blocking the view of the audience or the camera in the back. That's how a lot of people see this, as a lot of people see these meetings tomorrow on YouTube. So we want to make sure that if there's any displays, signs, or anything, that they're not blocking the view of the other people of the proceedings of the City Council. So moving on to 200 Julian. Last week, just prior to Thanksgiving, the city and the lender and HUD came to a settlement with the landlord of 200 Julian. The sum and substance of it is that the current owner is going to sell the building. They're going to sell the building, and they're going to provide an escrow that's actually going to make sure that there's going to be money sufficient. Even after the building is sold, even after there is a new manager, the property will remain under a consent decree. That means that we can bring it back before the judge if the property is not maintained in a way that is safe for the residents, that is habitable, that is sanitary, and that we don't backslide. We've had significant progress with the building. Elevators have been fixed. They're doing significant work to the level of about 6 figures on the elevators. 24/7 security has been posted. The number of police calls has gone down significantly. The purpose of this consent decree, which is an ongoing order, even though this case is settled, this is a case that can be brought back up at any point if there's backsliding. The city has invested a lot of resources, but as has been pointed out by public commenters, this is the exact type of resources that the city should be investing in making sure that its most vulnerable residents have been protected and that its most vulnerable residents actually have a place that they can call home that's safe and that's sanitary and that is not a threat to them or their children. So I want to thank my colleague Kelly Gandersky, who worked very hard on this. She worked tirelessly coordinating the efforts of both the lender, Freddie Mac, HUD, and then also working directly with the Tenants Association. As I mentioned, the tenants did an amazing job of organizing themselves and putting themselves forward and giving testimony. They testified at the hearings that helped the judge understand the depth of the danger and decrepit conditions that were in this building. And they did this, they were testifying against their landlord. They were testifying against a party that held their ability to go home at night. And I think that was really brave. And so I want to thank them especially. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Again, this has been an important issue for our city, is getting 200 Julian in a place that I feel everybody should have the right to a decent home, and this was important that we address this issue. Like I said, this is a settlement that we're coming to because they are in the process of selling, and we will continue to work with the new buyer to make sure that things are great for these for the residents that are already there and anybody else who moves in. Again, I want to remind people that all of our agendas are posted the Friday before our city council meetings, which are the first and third Mondays of the month, with a few exceptions. The agendas are always available no later than 5 o'clock on the Friday before that meeting. I want to take this opportunity before I go in and talk about some of the events that we have had this last week, and we'll have new ones in the future. I want to take this opportunity to thank some wonderful employees who make things happen for us. First, for those of you who don't know Jane Ferry, she's sitting in the back. I don't know if she wants me to embarrass her or not. Want to stand up, Jane? Jane and Austin Cantu worked on our Kris Kringle Market, our tree lighting ceremony, in addition to everything else that happens in this city. You know, they don't always get the recognition that they deserve, and I just want to give you a round of applause and thank you for the work that you and Austin Cantu did, so thank you. Second, I want to mention Kathy, who works in our Planning and Zoning Department, and Israel, who works throughout City Hall and the police station, who have come in on their own time and decorated our council chambers. The amount of work and artistic ability that has gone into this just blows my mind. I just am so grateful for their commitment and that they're doing this on their own time to make things better for all of us up here and for our residents to have this view on video. So again, thank you to them, and I want to give them a round of applause. As many of you know, Christmas time is such a special part of the year and one of my favorite times. And I want to say how much it warmed my heart to see so many people come down to the downtown events this weekend. We had a great crowd for the second annual Kris Kringle Artist Market, the Waukegan Main Street tree lighting, the Brothers Rising Toys for Tots collection, the Jeeps on the Run. There were holiday shows at the Genesee Theater and Three Brothers. I want to say, let's keep this community spirit going throughout the whole year. But to see so many people downtown and just the happy spirit, I'm telling you, this is Waukegan. And it was just so nice to see just the kindness that I saw on the street. So, continue that. I also want to say a special thank you to Mike and Paula Trigg for donating this year's Christmas tree. Some of you may have seen it coming down Sheridan Road before we did it. It was a wonderful tree. Had a little bit of problem with wind keeping it up. We nailed that for the Christmas lighting. But again, my sincere thanks to residents who donated that. If you can't get enough of the holidays, both our downtown theaters will continue to have new and classic holiday shows throughout the month. This week, Marie Osmond's coming to the Genesee Theater. This is time to experience top-notch entertainment in our city. Check the calendar of what's coming at waukeganillinois.gov. Also, I want to mention that we have some amazing teachers in our city, and we don't always give them the recognition that they deserve. But this teacher's name, I think you'll know from how much she does in our city. Nothing makes me more proud to be the mayor than seeing our community succeed. I'd like to extend my sincere congratulations to, once again, Cook Magnet teacher Julie Ahorn for being honored as the Chicago Bears classroom legend. For those of you who don't know Julie, I think Alderman Mosio, I think you know her very well.
Amazing.
She's amazing. She's taught for over 30 years and inspired countless students. And just her love for learning and technology, we've all, as aldermen and mayors, encountered all the wonderful things she does. And for her to be recognized, I think is just outstanding. So again, I'm so proud of her. Our city works better when we're all engaged, and that's why residents and especially parents should be aware that the Waukegan School District is hosting virtual town halls this week and in-person meetings next week to gather feedback as they update the district's strategic plan. Your participation will help share the district's future, and the full schedule of the school district's district town halls is available on the district website at wps.org. One more school district note. Over the next 2 weeks, the high school and elementary schools will be hosting holiday concerts at Trapp Auditorium. These concerts are free, open to the public, and give us all a chance in the community to show the support of our young musicians. It shouldn't come as a surprise, but the children in our community are incredibly talented. And we see that in all of our music as they progress. You won't regret attending the concerts. If you want more information, again, go to the school district's website, and you can find exactly what schools those are at and what times. For the bravest of people among us, the 24th annual Waukegan Polar Bear Plunge participant and sponsorship registration is open. Every year, our plungers kick off the year with an icy splash in the lake. This important event isn't just for the brave. It benefits a great cause, and all the money raised goes to scholarships and programs for the Special Recreation Services of Northern Illinois here in Waukegan. You can find out more information or sign up to those who brave the cold at waukeganparks.org/plunge. And I believe Alderman Hayes did it last year. Will you be back?
I did do it last year, and nothing can prepare you for that water.
Yeah.
It's terrifying before you go in, and you can't stop shaking. I will be back, so I'm going to do it again this year.
Oh, good, good.
Will you be plunging?
No, I will not be plunging.
If you would, I would.
I am weak. I'm telling you, I am weak. I am not doing the plunge. I'm sorry. But I will be there. I will be there. Yeah, I will be there. I will be there supporting all of you, but I will not be plunging. I want to talk about, we do have a holiday event coming up at the library where I will be reading to children of about the Polar Express. That'll be on Saturday, December 17th from 1 to 2. Again, come out and support kids and just, cheer them on. Reading is so important, and it's my personal cause that I've been a part of for years, and I can't be more thrilled to be a part of this, but I'd love for the community to be there as well. For those of you who celebrate Hanukkah, that'll be December 18th through the 26th, so you'll be starting Hanukkah before we have our next city council meeting. Finally, I want to remind people, it's the holiday season. We're all out talking to more and more people than usual. Please get your flu shots and your COVID shots. I don't know if any of you have noticed, but there's been a lot of flu bugs going around. People are getting migraines and, sick to their stomach. So please, let's make the holidays good for everybody. We don't need our children sick. Let's get those shots and save lives and get it done. That's all the comments I have. Madam Clerk?
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. You're going to go into your ratification of mayoral appointments.
Okay, tonight what we will be doing is just ratifying the people who are there for reappointments. So at this point, I will not be appointing Jane Haynes. She will be at the next meeting that I will appoint her. And I will also not be appointing tonight for the Historic Preservation Commission. Those will both be at the next meeting. So the ratification of the mayoral appointments will be Miguel Rodriguez, Nathan Hintz, Michael Bill, Teddy Anderson, and Benjamin Grimes. Those will be the ones that we will be ratifying tonight. So can I have a motion to ratify those?
Who's the first one? Because he's not on this list.
Who's what?
The first one?
Jane Hayes, we're postponing.
Okay, I'm sorry.
For the next
You
meeting.
said Michael Rodriguez? I thought I heard something
Yeah,
else.
the rest of those are all being appointed tonight. They're currently on the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Thank you.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so Alderman Florian, second by Alderman Turner. Can I have a voice approval? All those in favor?
Aye.
Like I said, we're holding over item B. Item C. Madam Clerk, would you like to read the resolution?
Yes, I would. Resolution 22R222, 70th anniversary of Lake County Community Concert Association. Whereas the Lake County Community Concert Association was established in 1952 as part of the Community Concerts family, which was created in 1927 in the Great Lakes region and continues to be the largest, most enduring network of performing arts presenters. And whereas the Lake County Community Concert Association original board members were William Masseau, Leora Amstutz, Dean Robinson, Marjorie Porter, Stuart McDonald, Carolyn John, and L. Geraldine Nix, all from Waukegan. And whereas Orland Trapp served on the board for many years as the stage manager after his retirement as principal of the Waukegan High School Brookside campus, before he was honored by having the auditorium named after him. And whereas Lake County Community Concert Association has provided world-class arts and entertainment in Lake County, Illinois for 70 years at the Orland D. Trapp Auditorium and Genesee Theater in Waukegan, Illinois. And whereas Lake County Community Concert Association is a nonprofit organization operated by a local band of volunteer directors for the purpose of presenting the best in live performances to the community at a reasonable cost. And whereas at the height of its membership, Lake County Community Concert Association had 2,300 members and had to add seats to the 1,900-seat Trapp Auditorium to accommodate the audience for the performance of the Vienna Boys Choir. And whereas over the years, Lake County Community Concert Association has hosted such notables as the Boston Pops, Chanticleer, Celtic Tenors, Dallas Brass, Joffrey Ballet and Orchestra, the New Christie Minstrels, Sons of Serendip, St. Louis Symphony with Arthur Friedler, Sultans of String, Vox Fortua, Wayne Messmer and friends, and so much more renowned artists and performers. And now therefore be it resolved that Mayor Taylor and members of the City Council of Waukegan, Illinois, do hereby recognize the positive impact that the Lake County Community Concert Association has made on our community and appreciate the fulfilling of their mission of offering the opportunity to every person to experience the magic of live performance by bringing artists and audiences together. Be it further resolved that a suitably embossed copy of this resolution, signed by the mayor and city clerk, be presented at their 70th anniversary celebration taking place at All D Trapp Auditorium on December 4th, 2022, and read into the public record at the Waukegan City Council meeting on December 5th, 2022, dated this 5th day of December, 2022. And I believe we have some people here today for
Anybody
that.
who is here with the Lake County Community Concert Association, please step up. We'd love to get a picture with you and to give you the resolution. So anybody who's with them, please come up.
I think we have Adrian and Christine Spronk, Scott Castillo, Tracy Adams, Austin Cantu, perhaps, Joyce Latz.
For those of you who have never been to a concert, please go. It is wonderful. I was there last night. Best 2 hours. Let me tell you, it was wonderful. I absolutely encourage the community to go out and see them. I'll let you tell them about the other shows that are coming and a little bit about them. But please take advantage that we have this in our community, because you are missing something if you haven't been.
Well, our next show is actually on February the 26th, 2023. It's Backtrack Vocals, and that's going to be an all-vocal show, and they're world-class performers, and be there, or you're going to miss out on another great concert like we had last night. We've got 2 more after that, but I just leave you with that one because that's the only one that I can remember at the moment.
They do have a website. Please go to their website and look. I will tell you, last night it was, what was it, The Dark Side of Yule.
By Classical Blast.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful concert.
It was a truly wonderful concert, but not the music you think. It kind of offered the dark side of Christmas, but in a fun way, and they do that with all their shows. So again, this is something that we are so privileged to have in our community. Please take advantage of it and go to one of the shows. So, did you want to get pictures, Jane? At this time, it is audience time.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have, I'm going to read the next 3 off. Well, and then let me make it 4. Go ahead and go to the east side of the room, and you have 3 minutes. Kathy Charity, Rabbi Michael Ben Yosef, Evan Sathern, and Tariq Nafim. So Kathy Charity.
Kathy Charity, Waukegan, Illinois. Good evening, Mayor Taylor, council members, and audience. I'm not at every council meeting, but I do watch it live on YouTube to keep updated. I've known many of you for some time, and I respect all of you. But what's going on in Waukegan? Not mentioning the other surrounding suburbs. The robbing, burglary, deadly gun violence, and assaults are being committed by the male population. When this bioweapon called COVID was released, the males seem to me have gone off the chain with violence. Rest my friend's soul who stood before you 5 months ago, scared and cried, complaining about gun violence over in her ward, Ridgeland. And she was ill. The community is keeping each other informed with violence because many residents have security cameras and is being shared all over Lake County, like right now on Atlantic and Linden. There's a heavy police presence. This has got to stop. Cars are speeding up and down the roads all day and all night, sounding like bumblebees with these tail kits that are applied to the trunk. I don't see Americans with these cars. The corner where Brother Blank's business is a stop sign with a red flashing light. That corner needs to have a camera. I also support having an administrator because Waukegan needs help. If monies are being allocated for these positions, then why don't the city create a sign language interpreter for our deaf community? After all, they are tax-paying citizens also. When I hear you all passing so many liquor licenses, I always give Alderman Newsom a kudos when she say nay. I support law and order, and I hope that our police department will continue to do the right thing because Waukegan has a lot of outlaws residing here. But I will leave you with this. 2024 will be monumental. All eyes shall open and every deaf ear shall hear.
Thank you, ma'am. Rabbi Michael Ben Yosef.
Greetings to the mayor, city council, and the citizens of Waukegan. My name is Rabbi Michael Ben Yosef, human rights activist, anti-violence activist here in Chicago. My organization is Chicago Activist Coalition for Justice. I'm here on behalf of the family of Marcellus Stinnett again. We have attended many city council meetings here in Waukegan, and many wonder why I continue to show up. We show up because the blood of Marcellus Stinnett is on the hands of the current mayor, Ann Taylor. Mayor Taylor, you have disrespected the family by campaigning on their loved ones spilled blood in the streets. You pretended as if you were concerned about what happened to Marcellus. All you did was capitalize on his death to get elected as mayor of Waukegan. Since we have been here participating actively at these city council meetings, we have not seen any empathy or remorse for what has happened to Marcellus. This body that you oversee as mayor has failed to add Marcellus' name to the agenda to have an open and forthcoming conversation. However, I noticed, Mayor, that you've rightfully so added to the agenda about the gun violence in the city. But still, there was no conversation about police reform, transparency, and a measure of your vision to ensure that another murder like Marcellus would not occur again. Let me, Mayor, remind you, former police officer Waukegan, Dante Salinas, is criminally charged with second-degree murder. Mayor, you referenced in your address that the holidays is coming, is your favorite time of the year. What do you think it feels like in a Stinnett family home? Marcellus is not coming back. They have an empty chair, but you will have a chair in your home, full with your family members. That is horrendous, and the citizens of Waukegan should be outraged. Your lack of action, concern, says you support this killer cop. Last month, the mother and father of Marcellus Stinnett was here in Lake County, and they were outraged, inconsolable. So again, we are demanding that you, Mayor Taylor, resign. You answered the question from the Chicago Tribune, would you resign? You emphatically said no. That says that you are clearly arrogant. Here's my reason why she should resign. You campaigned on the blood of Marcellus and did nothing to expedite justice for this family. You did not believe Marcellus. All you believed was he was a thug in the street, deserved to be murdered. You stood by the action of Dante Salinas. As I close, my prayers the family of Marcellus gets the justice they deserve, and the citizens of Waukegan exercise their right to vote this mayor out of office. Lastly, all lives don't matter until Black lives matter.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Evan Sather.
Good evening, City Council. At the prior City Council meeting on the 7th of November, Mayor Taylor, you opened with a short statement in your comments on the gun violence that's been happening more frequently here in this city, as well as the surrounding region. You said in it, and I quote, "And I'm going to go old school. Many of you remember the old saying that you used to see on the news. It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?" Can we go back to that for a little bit? Your child does not need to be out at 2 o'clock in the morning. Anytime after midnight, nothing good comes out of. Yet on that very same night, after the City Council meeting concluded, around 9 p.m., 25-year-old Waukegan resident pulled up somewhere on Washington Street and exchanged gunfire with another car. One of the bullets struck a 7-year-old child in that opposite car. Now, Mayor Taylor, I can only hope that that particular incident was eye-opening and humbling an experience for you, based on how out of touch you've been about the gun violence problem we've had in this area and beyond. Gun violence can happen anywhere at any time, no matter where your children are present. Gun violence even happens on your very own police force, some of which are right behind me. You have a trigger-happy police department that continues to choose murder as a solution, and it just happened as recently as the 24th of August. Now, if I were to stand here and say, "Justice for Marcellus Stinnett," I would imagine you would bang your gavel and say that I'm out of order, proving that you care more about the order of these meetings than you do about the livelihood and residency of your very own residents. That proves my point right there, Mayor. You care more about the order of these meetings than the livelihood of Marcellus Stinnett. We were hoping at the very least that you would join us in saying justice for Marcellus Stinnett, but not even just you, not even the rest of the City Council has joined us in that. Now, the only way to stop crime from happening is to stop giving people reasons to commit them in the first place, especially gun violence. Now, to do so involves taking some responsibility and ensuring that every resident here in Waukegan is included in what the city has to offer. Get in touch with the residents of your own town. Understand what they're going through. Govern accordingly once you do. And don't just leave it up to your city council as well. Everybody must get involved if we're going to solve this problem. This is your opportunity, Mayor, to create a blueprint that the rest of these yet-to-be United States of America could follow to eradicating gun violence in this country, to make Waukegan a safer place without children having to worry about the threat of gun violence impacting them, so they could be home for the holidays, not having the empty chair, as my comrade Rabbi just mentioned earlier. Delay everything on this agenda tonight if you want to be serious about this, but I don't think you will. And if you're not going to, Mayor, I would suggest you resign as well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Tariq Nassim. And following Tariq will be Brendan Stewart. So if you want to be waiting in the wings, that moves this along.
Respected Mayor Ann Taylor, honorable aldermen, and citizens of the great city of Waukegan, peace be upon you all. I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Imam Tariq Nassim. I am the Imam of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. We just had a mosque open in the neighboring city in Zion. I see a couple of nods in the crowd as well. I've been speaking with a couple of the citizens here as well, being established in Zion. I just wanted to share a little bit and invite you all and who we are as a community. The Ahmadiyya Muslim community are Muslims who believe in the Messiah, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. And we are the oldest Muslim organization in the United States. We span over 200 countries across the world. We are the only Muslim organization in the entire world who is unified under one leadership. And why I bring that about is because this has brought an impact on the world. If you look at the world today, many people have disparaging views on God. With those views brings sometimes bitterness. With those views sometimes brings peace. At large, the world is kind of gravitating away from believing that we have a purpose or a higher being. That's what you would think. But when you look deeper, and if you do your own Google searches, just to get your own quick fingertips on it, the fastest growing religion in the world, despite what we see in the media, despite the shows that we see on Netflix, and the eerie aspects that are brought to Islam, is Islam. The fastest growing sect, denomination within the religion of Islam is the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. And I represent them here tonight. I just wanted to say, Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you all, and share something. Thank you. The Ahmadiyya Muslim community is the leading Islamic organization that categorically rejects terrorism. The current Khalifa, our Caliph, he actually visited Zion about 2 months ago. There was a lot of hustle and bustle over there. I'm not sure you're all aware of, but I just wanted to, that big mosque with the lights on is open to not just Muslims, not to Hindus, not to agnostics, not to atheists, not to Christians, not to Jews, but to all of the above. And at any point, if you feel like you want to grab a cup of coffee and want to know a little bit more, I'll be there. My chapter president, Tahir Sufi, who's here as well, will be there for you, and we would love to have you. The reason why I bring this up, even though we're not from Waukegan, is we're a neighbor away, and we're a text away. And when you're ever looking to see what Muslims may be thinking, I don't think any war, disagreement, conflict ever started due to lack of knowledge or due to excessive knowledge. It always starts to lack of knowledge. If you ever want to know about Islam, come visit us. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak this evening. I've been walking around the community, talking to a number of neighbors about an issue that's been going on for quite some time, and that issue is leaf pickup. I think I might understand what's going on, and I wanted to offer a perspective on a solution that we may consider adopting, as we move forward into the 2023 and potentially 2024 fiscal year. So I understand that a number of years ago, we chose to contract with Waste Management as opposed to doing our leaf pickup internally. One of the problems that we've had is that Waste Management has been consolidating over the years. They've bought Advanced Disposal, they've bought a number of smaller waste disposal companies. And the problem that creates is that Waste Management now no longer has an incentive to make good on the contract that we have with them. There's effectively no competitor that the city of Waukegan could go to that would take a contract that size, as the mayor rightfully pointed out in the last city council meeting. I did notice that we do have leaf pickup trucks still in Waukegan. There are some orange ones that are owned by Public Works that are rolling around. Perhaps if we cannot find a viable competitor to Waste Management to contract with, maybe the city of Waukegan should become the competitor to Waste Management so that we can ensure that we pick up our leaves properly and also employ folks from the community. Take that money we're spending on Waste Management that has a fiduciary obligation to cut costs as much as possible to create a return for their shareholders. How is Waste Management cutting costs as much as possible? Well, they're not hiring people. They say they're having a hiring shortage. Part of the reason they're having a hiring shortage is because inflation is at 8–9%, and they're not willing to raise salaries in accordance with inflation, so it gets really hard for them to hire folks. They're a publicly traded corporation. They have the money, but they have a fiduciary obligation to return it to their shareholders. And unfortunately, the city of Waukegan is not a shareholder of Waste Management. I'm certainly not one either. So one of the ideas that I think we should think about as a community is returning back to the old model of utilizing our own internal resources, the leaf pickup trucks that we already have, hiring folks from the community, giving good jobs to folks in the community to pick up these leaves, and folks that are vested in the community, right? This is our neighborhood that we're picking up leaves in, and perhaps we'll have a better result there. I know this has been a problem for a number of years. My day job, I see public-private partnerships fall apart all the time, and I think that's a concern that we should address moving into the 2023 and 2024 fiscal year. So I thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate the opportunity to share that with you.
Thank you, sir. Brother Blank.
Brother Blanks, Black Abolition Movement for the Mind. One thing I would like to say, it would be good to have a little bit more of an idea of our Police and Fire Commission, who's on those committees and when are the meetings. And I think that was brought up here before. That would be good for the community to know about these meetings, where they at, who's holding the police accountable. So on that note, but what I wanted to do tonight, I want to extend my appreciation to the city for recognizing my wife 2 weeks ago, which was definitely a recognition well deserved. She's been, as I said, putting in work, grinding with me over on the South Side for pretty close to 30 years now, and at least 10 years in the location that we're in. I'm also extending a public special thanks to Senator Adrian Johnson, who came here to who came here up on request of myself to come here to watch her receive that Extra Mile Award. And appropriately, she was here because, in my opinion, Senator Adrian Johnson, since she have been here, have really went the extra mile, I know, through Black Abolition Movement for the Mind to aid and assist us in our efforts in working with our youth and dealing with some of the issues that we've been dealing with for over 3 decades now. She has done that in a way that in many cases and went that extra mile that many have not as far as the political system. And so I appreciate that. And I know a lot of times, even when we was doing the $500 impoundment, I remember when we was fighting that issue, and many issues where we are protesting, we always like to, I personally have felt like with the $500 impoundment, I would have loved to see more people out, because I felt at that time that anybody who had a car or their mom or their family had a car, in my opinion, that they should be out fighting that issue. But that's just my opinion. But then again, over the years, I evolve, and I say to myself, who am I to feel I have the authority to try to determine where someone should and should not be? And that, for me, taking that approach, it allowed my humility to keep my ego in check so I can stay focused on the initial business and the effectiveness of fighting for the people. So a lot of times, I've learned over the years, as some of the scriptures say, lean not to my own understanding of how I think things should go or who I think people should be. And in that essence, that allowed me to leave myself to be a vessel so I can be directed on what I should be doing on the business of the people. So therefore, I'm not taking the time on thinking where somebody else should be, because I got enough to do.
Thank you, Brother Blanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Margaret Carrasco.
Good job, Chris.
Yes, tonight. I'm here on behalf of several Latino organizations and local businesses to invite the entire community, all nationalities, all races, all religions, to all elected officials and candidates to our annual community event that we have in December. And this year we're going to call it the Toy Festival. And we have many, many activities for the kids besides giving out toys, etc. But this year we have a special show. It's starring Lake County's own Mariah Cara, as I call her, Illinois State Rep Rita Mayfield, who will be singing and dancing along with her dancing reindeer. On another note, talking about Christmas events, just my personal opinion, I think that it would have been nice if the Kris Kringle Market would have been maybe shut down Clayton Street, and then all that area filled with all the small booths and activities. I think that was missing this year. Also, I reached out to Arizmendi Landscaping, and I asked them for recommendations for next year. And they were there, the owner, and she said that the Christmas tree, the stump on the bottom was only approximately about 2 feet, and next year to get one that's at least 4 to 5 feet, because that way you could secure it really good and it won't be falling down. The other thing is that, just an idea, maybe to incorporate the community to come and decorate it. And the last thing, which my suggestion is, I think would be really great if next year we allow the community to compete, offer their tree. There's many trees in neighbors' and persons' yards, residents' yards that I think would be beautiful. And it would be great to see some huge, giant tree there that came from someone in the community. We don't have to buy it. And also be kind of competition, and also more than anything would be pride. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Margaret Crosco. The last two will be Rayon Edwards and Clyde McLemore. Mr. Rayon Edwards.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I got a lot to say tonight, but I want to address something first because I campaigned with this mayor, and I want to set the record straight. We did not campaign on the death of Marcellus Stinnett. And I think that's one of the issues that we have in cities like this, when we have people who doesn't live here come in our cities and try to tell us what's going on and don't have a right to do that. I worked very hard on this campaign because I thought that this city needed a change. So if we're going to come here and we're going to call people out, let's call those facts the way that they're supposed to be, facts. The second thing is, this is why I talk about education and why it's so important in our community, and why that it is important for you political officials to stress education. Because when we are educating the people on how things should be and how things should go, we avoid a lot of things. Cities does not give justice. The state's attorney does. And that's where we've been fighting at. And still fighting that, which is why you seen the officer there. And it's so sad, and this is where I talk about the lack of communication when we do things in the city, because the other officer that was responsible for this, for Marcellus Stinnett, he was terminated from this department. And we didn't put that out there, so you leave the public guessing. And so I'm gonna call something out, because this is what you should be called out on, Madam Mayor, because I see it's a guy up in here who is not employed by this city, using city IDs to get in spaces, and that is unacceptable. It is unacceptable. I sit here and I watch and I pay attention. We got to stop that, this rubbing of the elbows and things of that nature. I want to talk about the recent strike of violence and how it's been happening, and why we have no police is making it there. It doesn't make sense to me. A lot of times we are being told that they're not being called, and I can tell you for sure they are being called. I have text messages and screenshots of residents calling when something going on. And they're not making it there. And I'm not blaming them. But we keep on talking about a city administrator, a city manager, and we hiring this and we hiring that. But we are not hiring nobody to protect the people of the city. It doesn't make sense to me. You got over 100,000 plus people in this city. If you think 75 police is gonna do it, baby, you got a lot of thinking to do. It's not cutting it. And I see also that we do a lot of supporting mainstream events and things of that nature. We have something at the Boys and Girls Club quite frequently. We have book bag giveaways, and this city have supported it twice. One time giving us a bag of free erasers that they got for somebody else. But every time I come to these meetings, y'all talk about where y'all be. Please come to that underprivileged community that we are referred as.
Thank you.
Before you leave, you advertised that event last time, but there was no time on that. Can you tell us the time of that event?
Well, now we're talking back. I put in a FOIA concerning this fire truck the city of Waukegan is donating to Mexico. At the last council meeting, it was stated that the previous mayor put this motion on the floor. This started me to investigate. The way the FOIA came back, it was Alderman Morzio who put the motion on the floor, second by Rivera. And every one of you voted yay. However, the FOIA didn't provide any information how the truck was going to Mexico. It just told me 12-year-old truck was going into surplus. Again, I asked these questions that I asked at the last council meeting. What is the liability to Waukegan? Will the city go through the Consul General of Mexico in Chicago? Has the truck passed international safety requirements? How does Margaret get to run around and say she got the truck for the donation? Did she? Mayor, I read your post on the Waukegan Forward page. So 5 aldermen are blocking placement of your referendum for the city manager. It failed on the council floor twice. You really think the citizens of Waukegan are dumb enough to allow you to do what you want? You only won for being mayor to that seat with 3,600 votes. So you really think you could get 3,000 votes by Christmas? Ha, ha, ha. You lost a lot of support with the money you've been spending, locking the mayor's office down, now giving fire trucks to Margaret, who was found guilty of consumer fraud, deceptive practice against her own people, and now you think the white folks is going to save you? I will staff people to check every signature that goes on that petition. Why can't you just do your job as a mayor or step down out of that seat and let someone do the job that cares about this city? To the citizens of Waukegan, some of y'all don't like my presentation. Some of y'all don't like me. But everything I bring to this council floor, I bring proof. Like me or not, I'm not a liar.
Thank you, Mr. McLemore. Ma'am, that concludes the audience time.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We're going to go to the consent agenda. I can make a motion. I'd like to have somebody make a motion to.
I'll second.
Okay, wow, you don't even know what it is. To move, I will read the items that will be moved up. It'll be item A, B, C, D, F, J, K, L, and P. So we've got a motion that was by Alderman Mozio, second by Alderman Rivera, to move those items up to the consent agenda. Any questions to that motion?
Mayor, could you give those again?
Sure.
A?
Item A, B, C, D, F, J, K, L, M, and P. Okay, I've got a motion. Roll call, please. I need that to move them up to the consent agenda.
Yes. Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seeger.
Aye.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood. Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Motion pass.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item A under consent agenda, a motion to approve the regular payroll dated December 2nd, 2022 in a total amount of $1,705,027.14. Item B, a motion to approve miscellaneous payroll, holiday payback, or buyback, vacation and comp time cash out dated December 2nd, 2022 in a total amount of $138,620.55. Item C, a motion to approve vendor payments dated December 5th, 2022 in the amount of $2,956,127.53. Item A under new business, resolution approving a settlement and release of all claims for Central Services employee workman's compensation claim 201220W012. This matter was presented at the regular Government Operations and Oversight Committee meeting on December 5th, 2022. Item B, a resolution approving a settlement and release of all claims for Police Department employee workman's compensation claim number 20806W025. This matter was presented at the regular Government Operations and Oversight Committee meeting on December 5th, 2022. Item C, resolution approving a settlement and release of all claims for Police Department employee workman's compensation claim number 210809W023. This matter was presented at the regular Government Operations and Oversight Committee meeting on December 5th, 2022. Item D, a resolution approving a collective bargaining agreement between the City of Waukegan and SEIU Local 73. This matter was presented at the regular Government Operations and Oversight Committee meeting on December 5th, 2022. Item F, a resolution approving an intergovernment agreement for the city's participation in the mutual aid box alarm system. Item J, an ordinance approving zoning calendar number 2683 variance of lot size requirements for an automotive repair shop in the 83 district of 545 Benny Avenue, the west side. This matter was presented at the Community Development Meeting on December 5th, 2022. Item K, an ordinance approving the zoning calendar number 2684, conditional use permit for an automotive repair shop at 545 Benny Avenue, west side. This matter was presented at the Community Development Committee meeting on December 5th, 2022. Item L, an ordinance approving the zoning calendar 2685, a variance on lot size requirements for an auto body in the B3 district of 545 Benny Avenue, the east side. This matter was presented at the Community Development Committee meeting on December 5th, 2022. Item F, an ordinance approving the zoning calendar 2686 conditional use permit for an auto body at 545 Benny Avenue, east side. This matter was presented at the Community Development Committee meeting on December 5th, 2022. Item P, a resolution authorizing the amendment to the lobbyist agreement with the Cornerstone Government Affairs Incorporated for a one-year contract extension. This matter was presented at the Community Development Committee meeting on December 5th, 2022. And I believe you all received the update to that. Any questions to any of those motions?
All right, so that is the consent agenda, and I believe that you need a motion and a second now that the agenda has been established. So you need a motion and a second to adopt.
I'll make the motion.
And I will second that.
Okay.
Motion by me, second by him.
Okay.
Turner and Mozio?
Yes.
Yes.
Turner and
Yeah.
Turner and Rivera.
It was Rivera and Turner, I think, on that one. Roll call, please.
All in a hurry tonight.
Did you read the consent agenda?
I did.
The A through C?
Yes.
4A through C?
Yes.
I missed it. All right. Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton. Alderman Seeger.
Aye.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood. Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Motion passed, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item E should be under old business, and we did the consent first. So can I have a motion to approve item E to move up under old business?
So moved.
Alderman Hayes, a second.
Second.
Alderman Florian. So this is a motion to adopt an ordinance. Okay, well, that was a motion to move it up. Now can I have a motion to hear the motion that's on the agenda?
I'll motion.
Okay, Alderman, who was it? Rivera, and who was the second? Alderman Hayes.
Do we have to vote on the first motion?
Yes, I'm sorry. You do.
Or was there not procedural motions can be done by voice vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
So moving up, so
We'll
Well,
do.
we didn't do that, though.
We didn't do that. So let's go back to the initial motion, which was,
To move it Hayes by Alderman Hayes and second by Alderman
Yeah.
Florian. That's a audio vote.
can I have a, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Now, the second part of that motion was by Alderman Rivera, and Alderman Hayes was the second. And that is a motion to adopt an ordinance approving the disposal of surplus personal property owned by the city of Waukegan and a bill of sale. So this is about the fire truck. This is under old business because this was actually approved. I'm going to let corporate counsel explain this better than I am going to, but it was actually old business.
this is actually on the agenda mainly for transparency's sake. Back in April, there was a motion to surplus the ladder truck. This is a ladder truck that is beyond its service and its service lifetime and has no practical use to the city. And there was an ordinance that allowed the city to dispose of it basically any which way it wanted to, or that staff determined it was appropriate. There has been a request to donate this ladder truck to the municipality of Tonatico, Mexico. And so for clarity's sake and for transparency's sake, we are adopting basically an update to this resolution, surplusing it, and stating that it can be donated pursuant to a bill of sale that disclaims all responsibility, it makes it clear that there are no warranties, rights, or any other claims that can be taken with it, that will be executed by the mayor and the clerk, and then a consent will be signed by the mayor of the Ayuntamiento of Tonatico, Mexico. And at that point, this is basically it is a as-is, where-is transaction, and that is being documented.
So there is no liability to the city, and it's not a donation to a person, it's to the city of Tonatico. Like I said, we have done this before. We have some trucks that are still in surplus that unfortunately you can't use them in the U.S. because there are restrictions on it. So if they can use it, it's a donation to them. Any questions to this motion?
Just real quick, was there ever any interest from anywhere else for this thing?
You want to answer that?
The chief's not here, is he? Mr. Okay. I know sometimes we send things to municipal auction, but I mean.
No, previously, we decommissioned the truck 2 years ago. It's been a reserve status. We've not used it. Anything over the 25-year mark, we follow the National Fire Protection Association guidelines. They recommend anything over 25 years not to be used. So with that, we parked it in the station, reached out to some of our vendors and saw if there's any interest. Because the United States follows NFPA standards, 1901, no one else in the country was willing to take on that without refurbishing, which is a great deal of cost. So the same thing happened with our airport crash truck a couple years ago. That ended up going to donation as well. After a certain point, it's just not worth the money to refurbish these to the safety standards.
Thank you.
Yep.
So one last question.
So this is a truck that's more than 12 years old. It's 20-some years old.
Yeah, 27 going on 28 years.
So in reference to the comments during our audience time, was that question answered? Their concerns?
Okay. She just said that question was answered from audience time. Yeah, it is. It's not a newer truck. Any other questions to the motion? Okay, roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seeger.
Aye.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood. Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Motion passed, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item G. Okay, this ordinance will be amended because there's a dollar amount attached to this. Can I have a motion to hear this?
So moved.
I'll second.
Alderman, who was down at the other end? Okay, Alderman Mozio, Alderman Rivera, second. The ordinance amending and approving the zoning calendar V-122, the vacation of Sherman Avenue between Green Bay Road and Green Place for the sale of $27,668.08. And this matter was presented at the Community Development Meeting on December 5th, 2022. And basically what that is us selling a piece of land to somebody who is developing over there. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seeger. Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood. Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Motion passed, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item H, an ordinance, well, can I have a motion for it? I need a motion for item H.
So moved.
Alderman Hayes, second. Alderman Bolton. It's an ordinance approving the zoning calendar 2682, a text amendment to the Western Gateway Redevelopment Overlay District in the B2 Community Shopping District to amend the boundaries by adding the property of 4000 North Point Boulevard. And this matter was presented in the Community Development Meeting on December 5th, 2022. This is in reference, and you'll see some others coming up here, in reference to a cannabis dispensary. And I know there's been some criticism in the newspaper, why do we have two so close? We don't determine that. There is an area that cannabis can go into, and it's like any others when you say you have automotive places next to each other. We can't necessarily control that. We do have an ordinance that says it's 1,500 feet.
The state requires a distance separation of 1,500 feet between licensed cannabis dispensaries, and then the city also tacks on another 500. The previously approved license, which is on Waukegan Road, is basically on the other side of Fountain Square from this, and it's more than 2,000 feet property line to property line away.
So I just wanted to clarify that because there's been some talk, why are we putting them so close together? We don't put them close together. We don't determine a business what they want to do. They come in and tell us where they'd like to put it, and if it meets our requirements, they're able to do that. No, and not at this point. We had a motion for it, and any other further questions to this motion?
Can I ask one? Is this in the TIF district then?
This one is, yes.
So the property taxes from this will go into the TIF for the next 23 years?
I'm going to have Noel talk to you about that.
Good evening. Actually, both dispensaries are within the zone of TIF District number 11. So the property taxes for those in excess of what property taxes were paid. So the year the TIF was created, the base was set. The amount of those property taxes continue to go to the taxing bodies. Above and beyond that, the taxing amount, the property tax collected, the increment, goes to the TIF fund. There is an agreement there where there is a distribution each year to all the taxing bodies, which is different from the other TIF districts. But yes, it does go into the TIF fund, and that money stays with the city in the TIF fund and is available to implement the TIF projects that are in our redevelopment plan for that area.
And do you know, is the dispensary going to be taxed any differently than the bank was as far as property taxes go?
Generally speaking, that's an assessor's valuation. However, they are making improvements to the property, so I would expect that the value of the property would be deemed to be higher. But that's not something that we calculate.
But there's not any special kind of taxes because it's a dispensary?
Not that I'm aware of.
Taxes.
Property taxes, no, there wouldn't be.
Okay.
And Alderman Florian, I know you're aware of this, but the TIF only affects property taxes. It does not affect sales taxes or cannabis taxes, both of which are applied, which if you go to a dispensary in Illinois, for non-medical patients, the effective tax rate on product is around 40%. So that amount still goes to the city and would be not going into the TIF.
Any other questions to the motion? Okay, roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seeger.
Aye.
Alderman Mosio.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood. Alderman Newsome.
Nay.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Motion passed, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Can I have a motion for item I?
So moved.
Second.
Alderman Bolton, who was the second on this one? Alderman Hayes was first. Who was second?
Me.
Okay, Alderman Mosio. This is for an ordinance approving zoning calendar 2687, a conditional use permit for cannabis dispensary at 4000 North Point Boulevard. The matter was presented at the Community Development Committee meeting on December 5th, 2022. Any questions to this motion? Yes.
So I brought this up at the committee meeting, and I want to bring it up again. This law was passed by the state of Illinois as a social equity law, and I'm going to read right from the definition here. So social equity is an impartiality, fairness, and justice for all people in social policy. Social equity takes into account systemic inequalities to ensure everyone in a community has access to the same opportunities and outcomes. Equity of all kinds acknowledges that inequalities exist and works to eliminate them. So I did some research on the city of Waukegan, and the average income in Waukegan in general is about $54,000 a year. For white people, it's a little bit over $67,000 a year. For Hispanic people, it's about $53,000 a year. But for black people, it's about $36,000 a year. Right here in Waukegan. So Mr. Cowan, who says in here he's from Westmont, and his partner's from Henderson, Nevada, and his other partner's from somewhere in Nevada too. That's all great. I'm happy for you guys that you have the ability to apply for a license and get it. But what does that do for our local people who have this kind of inequity in our community? Places with high income inequality have a higher incidence of crime. Aren't we always up here talking about crime in the city?
No, we never talk about it.
People living in poorer communities with the majority of the population among low income earners are exposed to more crime. So we need to do something up here for our community, not just for Mr. Cowan and his people coming in here from other communities to run this establishment. I think we as a council need to, just like we did with the gaming money, went to the police and fire pensions, we need to earmark the money, the tax money from these establishments to create more fairness within our own community. And this is not the first time I've said this, and I never get any support from anyone else up here. So this may be the last time you hear me say it, because I'm tired of saying the same thing and getting nothing but blank stares from everybody else. So there you have it.
I think that's a discussion that we have separate from this. And I think that's, as we will decide with the casino money, how that gets used. The same thing will happen. You as aldermen will determine that. And, how you want to divvy that up. But that is not part of this tonight. So I totally hear you. And like I said, we'll go through the same thing with the casino. It's the same principle. Sir, did you want to address anything? Or
Absolutely. Alderman Floria makes a good point, because I'm African American and I know a lot of people that have been disparaged in their employment and in our communities around the country. So what we plan on doing is we plan on employing people directly from our community here in Waukegan, and our jobs should be equitable and they should be very high paying. So I think we're on your side in that, and we plan on helping to make Waukegan a little bit more equitable.
Can I ask you one question?
Absolutely.
Are you, I know the casino is, their hands are tied a little bit about hiring people with a criminal background. Are you in the same situation?
So you have to pass a background check because you have to get licensed from the state of Illinois. So if you can pass whatever background check and fingerprinting that Illinois has as a standard, then yes, we will hire people with criminal backgrounds. We have no opposition to that as long as you pass the background to the degree that the state will allow. No, you're not. I personally stand up here with a criminal background, and I am able to get a license. So you're not necessarily screwed, to answer your question, Mr. McLemore. Well, if you have a cannabis conviction, that doesn't constitute you being excluded. I don't know all the ins and outs of the state regulation, but...
Mayor,
you know what? We're going to go back to the vote. This is not a debate on the floor. So any questions from the council on this? Okay, roll call, please.
I have a question.
Oh.
In reflection to your comment, you plan to hire those that are economically challenged. Is there a certain percentage of individuals of color or diversity What is there a percentage?
So we can't really attach a percentage to that because we have to be fair in our hiring process. So we do plan on being fair, and I assume that we're going to get a lot of applicants from the city of Waukegan. And if we get a lot of applicants, there'll be there's a percentage, so if you have 100 applicants, right, and I assume that I'll probably get the majority from the city of Waukegan, so the majority of my employees should be from the city of Waukegan if that percentage stands, right? I mean, I can't
Not
really put
just
a number on that.
Africans.
It's just average, the law of average. If I get more applicants from Waukegan, I'll probably have more employees from Waukegan. If I get more applicants from somewhere else, then I'll probably have more employees from somewhere else. But I can't tell where those applicants are coming from, but the pool will be fair. We're going to hire the best individuals regardless of race, creed, or color. We're going to hire the best individuals for the job. I don't care if you have a tattoo on your neck. All I care about is that you do a good job. That's it.
Thank you so much. And I didn't mean just African, but just bringing diversity.
Yes, we will be diverse. I can promise you that.
Okay. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seeger. Alderman Mosio.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood. Alderman Newsome.
Nay.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Motion passed, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam
Can I say one thing, too? I'm so sorry to interrupt you guys. I just want to put pretty much a shout out to the staff of Waukegan. They did an amazing job, and we appreciate all of their help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Item N, can I have a motion for item N?
So
Make a
moved.
motion. Second.
Okay, Alderman Mosio, Alderman Turner. This is for a resolution approving the extension of a conditional use permit for Goddess Growers at 99 West Greenwood Avenue. And this matter was presented in the Community Development Committee meeting on December 5th, 2022. This is basically extending the conditional use permit because they have been delayed in getting a license. Yes, Alderman.
So we've done this before?
Yes, we've done this before.
No.
No. It's not something that we've delayed them or anything else. It's that, okay. Any other questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seeger.
Aye.
Alderman Mosio.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood. Alderman Newsome.
Nay.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Motion passed, ma'am.
Item O was held over, so that completes everything on the list or on the agenda tonight. There being no ordinances, item 9 is Alderman time.
Alderman Hayes.
Pass.
Alderman Bolton.
Yes. I just want to acknowledge Jane Ferry for all her work and her efforts and her contributions. I'm thankful that she's been acknowledged. And then I want to give condolences. I understand Clyde McMore, you lost your son. So condolences to you, and as well as those that have lost their loved ones and those that they care about. Now, in receiving this message about the city council blocking placement of the referendum in reference to the city manager, come to remind you, we as aldermen don't block, we only legislate. So that's all I will say about that. We don't block. Your voices matter. Then lastly, I want to thank those that make contribution to giving events to our city, that whether they're parties, whether it's giving book bags away or fundraiser, you do an excellent job, and I'm out there participating, and I just want to ask you to continue on, and I look forward to contributing financially, because I know you all want that, as well as my presence. God bless. Thank you.
Alderman Seeger. Alderman Mosio.
Yeah, just one thing. Clyde, sorry to hear about your loss. Another loss we had in the community was Mr. Reckling. I don't know if anybody knows who he is, but he was the owners of Grand Appliance.
What?
Grand Appliance started over on Grand Avenue, was just a little shop, and now you can't go anywhere in about 3 states without seeing a Grand Appliance. Stellar businessman, good man. My condolences go to his family, and just giving the council a heads up. I will be bringing a proposal to name a street after him. That's going to be up to the family where they want it. But I think that's the least we can do, and we give people street names justifiably so. And Mr. Reckling definitely deserves a street for having that business on Graven Avenue is still there. Even though he's expanded all over, he's still been loyal to Waukegan and kept his original store right there on Grand Avenue. Thank you.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. First of all, I want to thank Mayor Taylor for outstanding tree lighting, Jane Ferry, and all those who participated in that event. Also, my concern is that the situation that is happening on Genesee, got a video regarding an individual carrying a rifle. We need to make sure that we have police officers in areas, and I've been saying this for the last 3 years, that we need to continue to hire more people on the police force so that they can get there quickly and handle situations. We do not want to close down businesses, but when businesses are not helping that particular area, then we need to take strict action in that particular place of business. My other concern is that we need to look at limiting guns and things in the city of Waukegan. We can legislate a lot of things here, but certainly there's too many gun violence happening. We had a killing on the south side. We had shootings here in the area downtown. There's just too much going on in the neighborhoods. And certainly our consumers, our residents can't do it by themselves. We need to all work together to stop some of the violence that is going on. Yeah. Once again, we will work together as a council. This situation with 5 aldermen doing different things, you know, we make decisions. Some of us don't believe in certain things, and that's their belief system. But we're here to work for the betterment of the citizens of Waukegan. Thank you.
Alderman Newsom.
Pass.
Alderman Turner.
Thank you very much. Excuse me. A few things I want to talk about tonight. So first, somebody came up here and was talking about leaf pickup, and they had the brilliant idea of turning that over to the city doing that. That's already being discussed. It's been discussed for the last 3 weeks or more. Everybody up here is aware of the disastrous service delivery regards to leaf pickup. And believe me, we have had numerous conversations about that. But as I promised last meeting, we continue to pick up leaves throughout the city, and then particularly in the 6th Ward. And as always, if you have some special circumstance in the 6th Ward, give me a call, 847-445-3788. I'm the guy that gets things done in the 6th Ward. Give me a call, and I'll get it taken care of. So Alderman Kirkwood, he's gone. There you are. Hey, I really want to thank you because you are the first and only one who's even broached the subject of these freaking gunshots and people being shot. So I got something for you. So you talk about nothing being done, but the fact of the matter is that the Waukegan Police Department has seized 254 illegal firearms this year to this date, right? From January 1st to right now, 254 illegal firearms are seized. That wasn't seized from the good citizens. That was seized from criminals, felons, teenagers, or people who might otherwise qualify for a firearm owner's identification card but didn't have one, so they were breaking the law. People who were breaking the law were breaking the law, okay? But Waukegan Police Department did a fantastic job so far. We still got, 4 or 5 weeks before the end of the year, so maybe we'll get some more off the street. Something else that was not talked about, so we talk about all these events around the city and in other communities, right? Let's talk about some events that happened in Waukegan, North Chicago, and Zion, okay? In the last 2 weeks, roughly, we had 3 people shot up on Green Bay. One of them died, Waukegan, right? We had a woman shot on McAllister Street, in the middle of the street, multiple shots into this woman, and she lay in the street dead, okay? But that wouldn't be considered a mass shooting. It was 4 people shot, but they were separate incidents, but they happened pretty closely together, okay? In our neighbor to the south, North Chicago, had a victim shot in the face on 12th Street, 2 blocks beyond our line, right, beyond our border. And then a couple of days ago in Zion, our neighbors to the north, we had 4 people shot, 5 people shot. Now, that's a mass shooting. The definition of a mass shooting is 4 or more victims shot in a single or related incidents, right? So we had a mass shooting in Zion. Anybody hear about that? Any media attention? Lights, camera, action? No, nothing. You got nothing when it happens in our community, and I don't like that. You mentioned police hiring. Everybody wants to hire more police. You think the police don't know that? They're trying. 3-4 years ago, Chief, correct me if I'm wrong, 3-4 years ago, they'd have a test for the police. They'd have 400, 500 people applying. The last test that the Waukegan police held to hire 18 people. It's not because they don't want to hire police. We don't want to hire police. It's because people don't want to be the police. Why? Because there's this movement across the country, anti-police, defund the police, and all that nonsense, right? But then you cry and say, get more police. Well, we trying. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, our city workers are doing a fantastic job. We are resource constrained. We don't have enough people in the top 3 departments, or big 3, I should say, because they're all equal in their importance. Police, fire, and public works are all understaffed. And these guys and gals are doing a fantastic job. They're out there every day. And I got to tell you, I don't like being cold. Can you imagine having to go out in the cold and do some of this work that these people, we're paying them, and they're doing it, so they're getting it done. So I just ask folks to, you know, a couple of things I'm asking of you. Be a little patient. Try to be more informed. Reach out to your alderman. Reach out to the mayor's office if you have questions. As we know, this is not the time for back and forth. If you got questions about how things are done or why things are done, operational questions, reach out to the alderman, reach out to the mayor. We're here to answer those questions. And finally, I got to tell you, I don't celebrate happy holidays and all that nonsense. Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Alderman Rivera.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. First of all, my condolences to all the Waukegan families who have lost a loved one. Condolences to you, Clyde. I want to share my thoughts that Alderman Turner, to thank the city staff. Number one, the council is decorated very beautifully. They do a great job, very creative. Thank you for that. The Public Works, thank you, thank you, thank you. Your patience and responses to all of my calls have been great. I'm getting a lot of really good feedback from the constituents that are calling me, saying that within a couple of days, action is being taken, if not that very same day that I call you. So thank you very much, Chris. Also, I wanted to let people know to be mindful. Winter is upon us, and alternate parking is going to be very, very crucial if we get a lot of snow coming down. So please, please, please be mindful of that. And as always, I remind people when you're driving home tonight, watch your speed. I know that we don't, say we're going to, be speeding when we get into the cars, but that's the last thing that we look at, and it's how fast we are going. So let's set the example, and let's try to do the speed limit when we're driving home. I want to thank everyone for showing up. Thank you for coming. God bless. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Alderman Florian.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I want to thank Jane Ferry again. I don't know if she's still in here. Oh, she's out in the hall, I see. The tree lighting celebration was amazing, and it was a wonderful event for the community. I know she's hampered by not having David Motley by her side these days. And I'm impressed she's able to pull this stuff off single-handedly. So, with a little help from Austin when he's available. Saturday night, some of us were able to attend a celebration for the Saban House, which is an amazing community organization we have here in Waukegan to help women and children struggling with homelessness and help them get on their feet and get into stable housing, jobs, that kind of thing. So I was glad to be able to help celebrate with them. Yesterday, the Jeeps on the Run event took place at the Genesee. Do we know, did they fill 3 trucks yesterday?
I believe they did.
Yeah, so they brought 500 Jeeps in from throughout the county with toys for tots, and they filled approximately 3 semi-trailers full of toys. Last year they had enough to give 10,000 toys right in our community. And then there was a community, I think it was in Ohio, that their warehouse had burned down and they lost all of their toys. So we were able to donate some of ours to them so that those children also had a good Christmas. And the Genesee was full of people and life, and it was just an amazing event. So I just wanted to highlight that. It's usually the first Sunday in December every year. And then lastly, I want to mention on Thursday at noon at the Thunderhawk Golf Course is the Intergovernmental Committee meeting, and we are beginning the strategic plan for Waukegan, the work we're going to be doing with Northern Illinois University. So I encourage as many of the aldermen that can be there on Thursday at noon to begin participating in that process. So, thank you.
With that, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, boy, that was
I need the
fast.
vote.
Alderman Mosio.
Me.
And who was the second?
Me, Turner.
Alderman Turner. All those in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everyone.